Hello, everyone. Give everyone a minute to hop on. I know there's about a 10 to 15 second lag on Facebook, so we'll give you guys a couple seconds. But a quick intro, I am Liz Prue, VP of Marketing here at Base, and welcome to the Base New Features product demo, where our wonderful head of product, Jeremy Wight, will be walking through our tasks feature, our inbox feature, and how they seamlessly integrate into Decision Stream and Digest. And then I know that all of you are really here for his surprise sneak peek demo of Digest version 2.0. But we thought we would just do kind of like a big walkthrough of everything that we've released over the last month since our Empower 2020 Summit. Jeremy, I'm going to toss it to you for a second so you can give a quick intro of yourself to those watching that weren't here last week and haven't met you yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jeremy, and I am the head of product at Base. I'm extremely passionate about building products for assistants. It's been an amazing time. We love it. It gets us up out of the bed in the morning, and I'm super excited to get to share what we've already built, and again, some of the things that are soon to be released. So very, very excited to get to share and hopefully answer your questions, and not only answer your questions, help you to get the most out of the platform, as we'll give some time to do some of these things today. So I'm really excited. Thanks for having me, Liz.
Awesome. Yes, for sure. Before we jump in here, last week, a lot of you were signing up for Base while we were doing our task migration party. So I want to make sure we give everyone a chance to sign up, so that way you can test out the different features that Jeremy is showing us and demoing us at the same time. So if you have not signed up for Base yet, you can do that right now at app.basehq.com. So we'll give you guys a minute to do that. And let me just double check really quick. We are still streaming everywhere we need to be streaming. Okay, looks like we're good on Facebook. Alrighty. And while you guys are signing up, I also would love to know which one of you, or how many of you, are currently using Base. And if you are using Base, are you using it daily? Are you using it every other day? Every moment of the day? What features in Base are you using? We would love to know, so that way we can tailor this demo to you guys.
That's super helpful. Just as we wait to get some responses there, you know, I can show you lots of things, but I would love to be able to show for the however many users jump on. I would love to be able to show you things that are going to be most impactful for you, and make sure that you can get the most out of Base. So if you're not familiar with the platform, you'll get a sneak peek. Although I will say we're going to try and keep this one specific on a few tools rather than trying to do all the things. But you'll definitely get an idea and a sample of what Base can do for you. So
awesome. I love it. And then last week, a lot of you were saying you really appreciated the mini sprints and having a couple minutes to actually test out some of the features that Jeremy is demoing. So we may do that as well as we're walking through this, Jeremy. We could just give people a couple minutes to test some things out, ask questions live. This is definitely an opportunity for you all to have Jeremy's dedicated eyes and ears. So we're super pumped. Okay, we're getting some feedback now. We have a lot of people saying they're using Base every day, use Digest Builder, Decision Stream, Dossier, Inbox, and Tasks. Augustine Rhodes, you're like a power user. This is great. We love it.
Hey, Augustine.
I
know Augustine.
Hey, Augustine. We have a lot of people in the 30-day challenge. Jeremy, some folks are saying they would love to use it more and trying to make it a better use case to bring to my execs so they see value. Well, then you are going to love what Jeremy's going to show y'all today.
Yeah, and I'll just say for that question specifically, if you have not engaged with the 30-day challenge, I would highly recommend that as a starting point, as obviously, and the platform itself is gonna help make that super easy and way more efficient than if you try to do it without Base. But it's something you could do without Base as well. And it's just we have seen time and time again, not just from our own assumptions, but from the results of the feedback, that execs love it. They feel better prepared and they feel more strategic. And assistants who are engaging with this process also 100%. Like, there has not been a single person who has responded who has said, I don't feel more strategic and less reactive. So highly recommend engaging in that as well.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get started, Jeremy. I will make sure that everyone can see your screen. We'll blow that up, but let's go ahead and dive in. I will toss the reins over to you.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll do two different things here. First, I'm going to start with just a screen, and then later I will share more things if that makes sense. So
yes.
1 second. Now it's thinking. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. So if you've used Base before, you should find this familiar. If you haven't, this is the dashboard. This is the first place you land when you sign up for Base and you log in. Right up here at the top, we've got all of the workspaces that generally represent the executives that you support. So if you're supporting 5 executives, you might have 5 workspaces here. I do a lot of testing, and so I have many, many workspaces, probably more than you will ever see in your own account. But quickly, you can see right here for Wendy, this is her, the calendars and the events that has been attached and associated for her. This is the activity of things that my executive, has engaged with for me. So you can see she's answered this decision stream question, she's viewed a link, and lots of decision stream activity here. So this will just give you some context about what your exec is responding to and when they last viewed things, and so on and so forth. But again, I don't want to spend a ton of time on just on the dashboard. I just wanted to orient everyone as I begin. So the first place I want to begin is a feature that is right now in early access. If you are if you're interested in signing up for that, Liz can drop the form in the chat, or somebody can drop the form in the chat for you to sign up to get access to Inbox. But I'm going to start our journey here. And one of the major pain points we've heard all the time is that, especially as things have gone fully remote and distributed, as most of us are, it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep track of all of the places where information and inputs get sent to me. So whether that's a task, or whether that's something I want to store for my executive or for myself so I can look it up later, all of these things, they're happening in email, they're happening in SMS, they're happening in Slack, they're happening in Microsoft Teams, they're happening in all these different locations. And I don't have to tell you as an assistant, you're always doing 7 to 10 things at once, and that makes it really difficult to be able to keep track of these things. I've heard, there was one user that I was speaking with that when I asked her, how do you keep, she brought up this pain point. I get all kinds of requests in Microsoft Teams, and what I tell that person to do is just to, if they really want my help, to send me an email, and that way I won't lose it. We think that while that is a workaround, and we want to solve for that. And so this is Inbox. With Inbox, you're able to send all of these things into one location. So once you come into your Inbox, you've got the ability to connect up via your custom email alias. So this will allow you to allow you or anyone else to send in anything directly into your inbox. A pro tip here is to save that as a contact for you and also for your executive. You could save it for yourself as a base inbox, and for your executive as tasks for my assistant. And then you can just send those things and they'll come directly in. You also see that you're able to connect up Slack, and this is coming very soon. So I have it, you won't have it, but coming very soon is Microsoft Teams. So for those on Teams, we had said just last week that that was going to be coming soon, and you can actually see, and I'll demonstrate this briefly here coming up. But what this does is this allows you to send anything in just a couple of clicks, whether via email or via Slack or Teams, into Base, so that you don't lose track of it. So I'm actually going to share my whole screen so you can actually see this in action. And so I don't want to do this the whole time, because I know if you're looking at a small screen, it's going to be hard to see all of this. But you can see over here, I've got Slack open, and maybe I've got these items that I want to save. So, for example, I asked my assistant to schedule a pickup for the alteration service, and so rather than her having to, copy this, paste it into her task list or anything like that, all she has to do is hover over this message after she's connected Slack, and click this little bookmark, save icon, and you can see in no time at all, this is popped right here into my inbox. So this works similarly for Microsoft Teams. Again, this is coming soon. Microsoft Teams, of course, Microsoft makes everything a little more difficult, but for this, I can go to this triple dot menu and go to send to inbox. So we're going to try and make this easier if Microsoft will allow it, but presently this is what Microsoft allows. But you can see, if I come back over here, you can see that is right here in the inbox. So in just a couple of clicks, I'm able to capture these things. And now what do I want to do with these? Well, I need to do something with these. And so I want to turn these into, this is a task for me, right? So I'm going to select a couple of these, and these are tasks for Wendy in this case. So I'm going to choose Wendy, and you can see a few different options here. You can create it as a task. You can store it as a custom note, or this was just released, you can attach this to a contact. So in this case, these are both tasks. So I'm going to create those as tasks, and I'm going to quickly go and verify that they got added. And you can see here that this task was created in just a couple of clicks without me having to do anything, without me having to tell that user to stop and send me an email to remember this. I've now taken that from Teams to Base and into a task, so that I don't have to deal with this right now. I can deal with this later. So I'm just going to pause there for a second. Liz, you have anything that you would like me, any questions or anything I should jump into? I don't want to just keep talking here.
Yes, I was, I'm dropping some questions in the captions too, but I'll just go ahead and ask here. I'd love to know, for those of you that are using tasks, because so many of you have said that you're using Base tasks, have you been able to create a task from inbox yet, either through your email or Slack? And if so, do you have any questions? We'll also give you guys a minute to try that out while these questions are coming in too.
Yes, if you have access to, as Liz said, if you have access to inbox, it will be listed here. If you don't have access to inbox, you can drop that in the comments, and we'll, after this, or maybe if Akshay's in the background, maybe he'll be able to do, but if not, afterwards, I'll make sure to turn it on for you. But you can use that inbox here, or everyone should have access to tasks.
I'm sorry, Jeremy, can you show that one more time where it would say inbox? So we didn't have your screen up.
Right over here on the left, you would see this little inbox, this inbox icon. You would know though, if you have it, it's because you specifically requested it and I turned it on for you. So yeah, and somebody asked, this is a great question. I always forget to state. Yeah, we don't send anything. We don't send anything directly to your executives. So this is all things that you would send to them. So we'll get to Digest Builder and how that connects to what we're showing here, which is a huge part of kind of closing the loop with your executive, but we don't. Base does not send things to your executive, and similarly, your executive does not have to log into anything. These are just, if they can use email, if they can use text message, any of those sorts of things, you're able to leverage Base without them having to log in or change the way that they operate.
I have another question for you from Augustine. If you take an item that is in inbox and you move it to custom note, are you able to move it to tasks after that?
So once no, the direct answer is no. Once you've sent it to one of those locations, it's removed from your inbox, because we know that assistants like to keep their inbox clean. So what you could do in that sense is if you wanted to send it to 2 locations, let's say you wanted to make it a task and a custom note, you could send it in twice and associate it with both of those things. But that's a great question. And as we progress forward in the coming months, again, we just released Inbox. We're thinking about more ways that we can connect these pieces, because we know that they're not singular, right? There's tasks that are associated with a contact, and there's events that are associated with a note, and all of these sorts of things. So you're going to see more and more over the coming 6 months and beyond how we're going to continue to integrate these things. So that's a great question, Augustine.
Awesome. And then I'll make sure that you guys have access for all of those registered after this event. I'll make sure to get all your names to Jeremy so he can.
Yes, you just have to. The only caveat is I can't turn it on until you have an account. So I had a few people that registered for Inbox but did not create an account. I can't turn it on for you until you have an account. So that's more motivation. If you're watching and you haven't signed up for Base yet, go sign up and we can get Inbox turned on for you.
Awesome. Perfect. And then I'll drop the link in here too, guys. But if you're joining and you didn't register specifically for this event, when Jeremy goes into demo mode again after this, I'll make sure to get the registration link so we can get y'all access. Perfect. Okay. You want to get back into demo mode?
All right. Yeah. So now I want to share some more about why tasks is such a great, the task feature that we built is so tailor-made for assistants. It's not just a standard to-do list, and you're going to see that there's more coming. So before I even show this, we listened to your feedback. There was many people the last time that I shared that was asking for a couple of things. You want to be able to assign tasks to people, and you want to be able to get daily reminders of any to-dos that are due today or coming due, or things that you've done. Those will be coming very, very soon. So you got to hang on, but we are in the works. I was reviewing the designs this morning, and it won't take us but a couple weeks to get those done. So if you're thinking about those things, you just got to hold on a little longer, but I do want to show a few different things here. So when you think about a task as an assistant, very frequently, a task is not just a thing that you do and it's done. It might start as that, and it might start as something else. It might be a question that came. So for example, in this case, this was, let's go back to that same message that came across from Microsoft Teams. Don't forget to reschedule my one-on-one with this abbreviation, which in this case is the Microsoft Product Manager. So I dropped this to my assistant. My assistant knows who that is because she has access to my inbox, but she doesn't necessarily know how urgent this is or when. So this might come up. I'm going to create a new question, and that question is, what is the urgency on this? Because very often as executives, we're moving quickly. We don't think about the additional context, but really the context is queen in this scenario of understanding how to best support them. What is the urgency on this meeting, right? So I'm going to quickly create this as a question. And so now this question is associated back with this task. And now I want to, so what am I going to do with this question? I'm going to finish preparing this and send this over to my executive. So in this case, there's multiple different types of questions you can ask. You can ask a single select question, a multi-select, open response, or yes, no, other. That's just a quick, so you don't have to type out the yes, no options. In this case, I'm going to make this a single select, and I'm going to say, I'll add a little description. When do you prefer? And I'll say this week, let's ASAP, so this is super fast this week, right? It's already Wednesday, so that's going to be pretty hard. Now we're going to say somewhat next week before the end of the year. At this point, 2020 is moving along. So you can see in this case, I have this question, and I still haven't gotten an answer to this one, so I'm going to include that as well. So I'm going to pick these two questions, and I'm going to share them. So this is Decision Stream, and if you haven't seen Decision Stream is a great way to get questions answered, to store all those questions that you frequently come up with in the natural support relationship, and be able to send those to your executive and have all those answers come back to the same place to know which ones have been answered, which ones haven't. Because again, same pain point. We've heard very frequently that assistants will have questions out to their executive via email, via text. You might have asked them something and they'll get back to you on that, all of those sorts of things. And so you can create this question stream right here in Decision Stream, and all of that will come back to the same location. So you can drop this link in. We haven't yet connected Microsoft Teams here, but you could drop this link in Teams. You could text it to them, Slack, whatever. In this case, I'm going to copy this link, and let's just imagine I just drop this to them in Teams. So they're gonna be able to open this up, and this will work on mobile or any of the methods that they might access it. Come on, hit enter, Jeremy. Well, my computer is dying because I'm streaming. It's 2020 for my computer too.
I know. I force these fancy streaming tools on, and they kind of chug.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back to that, but that's going to allow them to quickly answer this once it actually my computer catches up and it allows it. So you can see that since we've delivered this to the executive, it's now waiting for a response. So you've got that instant feedback there. And actually, if we go back to the task list, you're going to see that already the status has updated. So now you've got this task that has this rich contextual information. With it is any questions that exist. So maybe if this becomes more of a project, you're able to do this and keep all of those in one location, have all of those associations kept together, and make both your life easier and your execs easier. And I want to hit on that for a moment. The vast majority of executives have told us when their assistants curate the answers for them, it feels like they're reading their mind, right? Because you often know as an assistant likely what one of the options might be. If you can prepare those for them, it reduces that cognitive load. It reduces the time for them to be able to have to answer. All of those things makes it super, super easy. Like again, for the vast majority, we've heard very positive response to Decision Stream. So I'll pass it back to you, Liz.
I have a couple questions for you. We have someone on Facebook. I've tried using this. My exec still prefers to use email to communicate replies.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
We're just looking for ways to, how do we, I think, well, with that, what we find too, with a lot of feedback on how users have kind of combated that, is that introducing that this is the cadence in which you will be consolidating everything that they need to respond to, or answers they need to get to you, it eventually starts to become a habit and something that they expect to see. And our 30-day challenge actually really helps with this. I'll drop the link in for that as well, so you guys can check that out. But I think, yeah, I would say that the 30-day challenge is probably one way where Decision Stream can start to become habitual for your executive.
Yeah, so in some cases, an executive is going to reply via email, but especially once they begin to get in this habit, as Liz said, as they see you sending these things and go, hey, this makes it super easy and streamlined to do this. And in many cases, it's faster and easier. And so again, it's not every executive. Some will reply to those emails. But we've also found that many assistants aren't actually sending these via email. And so in that case, it makes it even easier because they don't want to open their email. You don't want to add more to that. So yeah, if you have a follow-up question, let me know and I'll try and answer that more specifically.
And I want to make sure I understand this. This is from our friend Augustine. If they do not use Microsoft Teams, are they still able to access the question?
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. I was just using that as an example use case. This is you can drop this link anywhere. So whether it's via text or another, let me show you another way. That's actually a good segue. So let's say you want to include this in your digest. So if you haven't seen Digest Builder is a communication tool with that you can use with your executive or really anyone. But let's say you've got this questions to call out if time sensitive, right? So in this case, you could either add that as a link, or you could insert a decision stream directly into the digest. So you can see we can insert this right here, and then by sending that digest to them, you're kind of creating this, hey, here's the questions that I need your response to. That's going to make it really easy for them. And actually, for the user that mentioned that you find that they're answering via email, I think that you're going to be really excited about some of the things that I'm going to show you coming in just a moment, and then and that will be coming soon. So I have something else that'll help there.
Perfect. Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
Okay, so do you want to dive in to that then? I think we have a lot of people just saying yes, they love using it this way. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive back into the demo.
Okay, awesome. Well, I still have base open, and what you might notice is something a little bit different than what you probably see, and this is this little 2.0 badge here. So we are working on something called Digest 2.0. And what this is going to allow, and many of you have asked about this, is, okay, so you've got this task list, which is great, but a lot of those things, even some of the things that we call out in the 30-day challenge digest and things like that, are status updates on some of those kind of project or tasks that you have. And the reason that we haven't included those in the current digest is because there isn't a dynamic nature to it. It is a kind of a static document that you're sending and then is like kind of done. But with Digest 2.0, you're going to see a few different things. And the first one that you might notice here is the ability to pull in tasks. So with this, you now have this option where you can, of course, my computer is going super slow. There's the little bar. You can pull in questions directly into this digest. So you can now build a fully functional. It's a fully functional communication tool that's completing that loop. So once you have prepared this, your executive, and again, this is super early, so it's going to end up looking. It's going to end up looking a little bit different than this because we don't even have all of the styling done yet. But I do want to give you a sneak peek here. So there's a few things that in the Digest 2.0 that you're going to see right out of the gate, and then one of the things we'll be adding is, you can imagine if we have a task sidebar, why wouldn't we also have a decision stream sidebar where you could include decision stream questions directly in line? So now your executive has a similar view of their other one, but this is fully dynamic. So they've got like a little words, what are those things called? You know what I'm talking about. Things at the beginning of the book that help you find stuff. That thing is in there. No, that's not table of contents. Thank you. Words. Yeah, there's a table of contents here, so they can quickly jump to these different sections. So anytime you add a header, you'll have this kind of quick reference that really is truly a header. And you've also got tasks with, so maybe in this case, you're listing out tasks for them. And hey, here's the 3 things that you said you were going to do. Here's the 3 things that I'm working on, whether they're currently completed, they're in progress, or need to be done. And now the executive can say, oh yeah, I already did that. I forgot to mention that before. It's already done. And that will automatically update the task list that you have with that same interaction and status. Similarly, oh, I didn't add any events here. Let me add an event and all. So I'll just add all of today. Okay, so I've got all of today here. I've got all this information, and I'm going to go back over to my digest. And another thing that we've heard is I want to be able to include a bunch of information, but I want to keep the digest kind of scannable and easy, which is executives love. So you can see here in this case, I have the preference set to have my events collapsible. So now maybe I just want reference to these things, but oh, this one I need the link to. So I've got this link under this collapsible section. Maybe there's a bunch of details in that meeting that they just need to have as a reference, but isn't like always persistently necessary. Another great use case for this would be like, we know a lot of assistants will send a piece of communication when their executives getting ready to travel. It's kind of travel itinerary with all of this detail here. Well, now you can create a collapsible section and drop those things directly in there and say, okay, here's where you're going. And then under is all of the, if you need the attachment, the PDF of the actual confirmation or any of that things, you can put that within a collapsible section. So if they never need it, it's super easy for them to skim still. But if they need it, it's there for them. So you'll have the ability to add these collapsible sections. And again, similarly, when you start to think about, and again, we don't have decision stream questions in here yet, but now you'll be able to put in inline decision stream questions that will allow them to, which I suspect is going to solve the problem of, hey, my executive tends to still answer via email, because now what they're going to be able to do is you're going to have a reference item and then a decision stream question, and they can literally just click the answer and be done. That's going to be way faster for them, especially if you curate those answers than them responding via email. It's just going to make it easier, so it's likely that they're going to start to adopt that more. And then we don't have this ready yet, so I can't show it to you, but the next question is, well, how does my executive communicate back to me besides decision stream? We are presently working on commenting, which is going to allow you and your executive to communicate directly within this document, within this digest, back and forth, if there is a desire to, or whether that's just leave a thumbs up or a quick reaction or anything like that. So this is Digest 2.0. We will be ready for very early testers soon. So if you are interested, in being an early tester, one of the things that we have done is, and because we know how important Digest is, especially if you're doing the 30-day challenge, you're going to have the ability to go back to Classic. So maybe you're like, hey, I'm experiencing a bug here, which honestly, if you're in the first group of users, you're probably going to experience a bug. So if you're not able to deal with any of that, then you might want to wait just a few weeks until we've got it, we rolled out to more people. But if you do encounter an issue, you can always go back to the Classic version, so you can send your digest that way. So that was one of the reasons this took a little longer, because we wanted to make sure that we gave you a path in both directions in the event that you're using Digest 2.0 and like, hey, I need to do something else and I want to go back to Classic. So Digest Builder, great for daily updates, keeping your exec informed, great for weekly roundups, great for sending out to teams and groups or departments any of these sorts of things, it's going to be we're really excited about 2.0 because it is based on all of the feedback that all of you have given to us in making this better and more helpful. I'm just going to pause there because I feel like I'm just talking all the time.
I know you're helpful though. Everyone's
I hope so. I hope it's helpful.
Chat. I think it's great. Thank you so much for walking through all of that. We have a lot of people saying they would love to be an early tester of Digest 2.0. So maybe I'll convince Jeremy to let me make another page where you guys can fill out for early access. We'll see.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's great. And if you sign up for that too, we actually might even have earlier questions than testing of Miri and I, our amazing lead designer, Miri, are constantly looking at how can we make this the greatest experience for assistants possible. We want to make this so simple for you. Again, we know that, and we've heard time and time again, and I've done hundreds of user interviews with assistants, and the number one thing that we hear as to why is Base so powerful for them, and that is ultimately we're creating one place instead of 10 places that you need to go to do these things. So you can create a diet. As I said, the 30-day challenge will work without Base, and I hope that you will check it out because it is a really, really powerful thing for you, for your career, becoming more strategic, all of these things. You can do it without Base, but it's going to take you significantly longer. And that's why we are really building some of these best practices directly within our tools so that you are getting time back to focus on more strategic things and at the same time naturally becoming more strategic yourself. So super excited.
Awesome. That's great. And we'll give you guys more opportunity to provide feedback on all of that too. Akshay, as all of you know, is one of the leaders in our community, and we'll be dropping in more polls and more opportunities for you all to provide feedback outside of these weekly demos and events that we'll be running on here. Jeremy, is there anything else you wanted to show before we jumped into our last bit of Q&A here?
I just want to show one last thing before we jump into that. Of course, these are actual tasks for me because I use my task list in here. It's amazing. So I don't want to send these to a test here. Let's go this mentoring today, right? Oh, this might be relevant. Okay, so this is for someone I mentor. And this is somebody I deal with, or I engage with frequently. And what I want to do, I don't have a contact yet for them. So let's create a new contact because this is information that I want to store. And so we think about context not like necessarily like what you would use in your phone address book or something like that, where you've just got millions of phone numbers. Think about it more about like those key individuals that your executive is working with that you want to store information about. And so you can see in here, I've now created a contact from this item that came in the inbox. And now I've got this stored. So so what we do is, if this is new, we don't know who that person is. So we just say from inbox at this point. We might be able to in the future read their email, but we aren't quite there yet. So, but quickly, I know that this came from inbox, and this is Drew Peterson. And now I've got this stored. So again, we're making it super easy to take this information that's out in these different locations that otherwise might be when your executive goes, hey, when was the last time I met with Drew? I don't know. I have to go search 5 different places. No, I can come here. I can look at this contact. In 2021, early 2021, you're gonna if you're excited about this stuff, the stuff that we're going to be doing in 2021 will blow your mind because we're building the first scheduling application for assistants, built specifically for assistants, and I think you're going to be really excited about that. And so that is just another way we're going to be continuing to build this out so that you have one location. So I just wanted to show this contact thing because we just released this, and I know this is something that we hear frequently from assistants, that I don't have a system for storing all of this information, or the system I have exists, But when I'm on PTO or when I'm on holiday, I have no way to share this with a colleague who's going to step in to support my executive. And that is somewhere where, in particular, working within a team and the team's plan that we have in base can be really, really powerful. Oh, that's it, Liz. I just want to share that.
No, I think that's great. And I'm glad you brought a lot of that up too. A lot of you have been asking in response to a lot of the emails that we send out how you can schedule out certain things. So schedule out your digest, schedule out your decision streams. That's all available with our Pro plan. And we do have a discount going through the end of the month on that right now as well. So I'll be sure to include that in the follow-up email so you guys have that, because that is a common question that I've been getting in response to. Getting asked. We have another question. Did I miss another question in the chat here? I want to make sure we get to all of you guys. Okay, let's see. I think you actually answered a lot of these in that last bit of demo. We'll give you guys maybe another minute to drop your questions in. Again, I know we are 10 seconds-ishy ahead of you guys. There's a little bit of a lag on Facebook, and that's where a majority of you are. So we'll give you guys a couple minutes. And while those questions are coming in, I wanted to plug some of the different events that we have coming up this week. So tomorrow we have Phoenix Normand, who a lot of you have requested so much more of. He was at our Empower 2020 conference. If you have not watched his session, please do so. It's the Strategy is King session. And in tomorrow's chat, he will be talking about the contents of his book, which is pretty incredible and has some awesome advice on your career, life. And I think he's just an awesome guy. So we're really excited to have him. And that is tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'll be sure to include the sign-up link for that in the follow-up email as well. Yes, for all of you asking, the session will be recorded. So you can refer back to it.
I see a question, actually.
Oh, did I miss one?
Well, I don't think I got asked it.
Okay.
Somebody asked about calendar analytics. So hold on. I want to make sure my computer caught up to me as I was beginning to share. So we do have a feature within the platform. It's called Analyze. It's down here at the bottom, and this will allow you to do some basic calendar analytics on anything that any of the connected calendars that you have. So in this case, I have my calendar enabled over here, and you can see that in this period of time, I've had so many meetings. This many hours in meetings, my typical meeting length, average attendees, how many people did I meet with? You can see a little breakdown of internal versus external. So we determine, that's a common question here, is how do you know what that is? We're inferring it based on the email. So if you are using if your calendar is a Gmail address, it's probably going to say everything is external because we don't know. But if you have a company email, like for example, I meet with my product team very frequently. So the vast majority of my emails or my meetings are internal, but I do have some external, and then other would be a mix of those things. So we do a basic kind of analysis on the calendar. You can see what are the top people. Hey, if Miri's out there, Miri, shout out, #1 meeting attendee with me. Probably hates it. We meet. Yeah, we meet a lot though, because we're always working on building this product for you all. So you can do some calendar analytics. I will say there have been a lot of questions from people that use it of, hey, I'd like to do, it's great, but I'd like to be able to do more granular analysis. And if that's you, as I said, we've got in early 2020, we have this new calendar application we're going to be building. That is going to be one of the things that we're going to be adding to it, because we will have we're going to have, as you build out and schedule within base, you're going to be able to do things like add a tag and add those sorts of things. We'll be able to slice on all of those variables, which is going to make this way better than anything you've used before. So if you're a user of Analyze and you're finding it it's helpful, but I would like more, awesome, I'm excited. It's coming. It's going to be a little while because it's just a little ways down the road, but we're not too far off.
We have another question from Mindy Mackey. No need to apologize, girl, that you were late to this. No worries at all.
Glad you're here.
So she would like to know, the task list reminds me of ClickUp. Will there be integrations to other task management software? Mindy, I'll be sure to send you our task migration party recording as well, because we dive into this a little bit in terms of the value that our task tool provides as it relates to assistance specifically, but I'll let Jeremy go ahead and speak to that.
Yeah, so we do. So we started out with integrations with Slack, email, and Teams. Those are, we started off with those, but we do have plans for additional product integrations with other task management apps in the future. Primarily not because I expect you to use ClickUp and our task list within Base. I think it's, even right now, I used ClickUp. We used to build our product using ClickUp. Don't have anything against it, but I think this is much better for what assistants are generally doing. And so I don't expect you to use it, both of those things, but we also know that you might interface with a team that leverages one of those. So maybe a team you support is using ClickUp, or your marketing team is using Asana or something like that, and you want to be able to connect to create tasks back and forth, things like that. So we do have that plan for the future, but it's not ready right now.
Awesome, thanks. I even use our own task tool as well. So it's great. I love it. Okay, anyone else have any other questions for Jeremy on anything that you saw today or what's on our roadmap? Give you guys a minute to ask some questions here. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm just going to do a plug. For one thing. If you're using the application and you ever run across a question, issue, wonder if there's have a piece of feedback or anything, right down here in the bottom corner, there's this little chat bubble, and we are very responsive to feedback. It's like we thrive on it. You can see our usual reply time. Hey, this is Michael from Base. If you like Jake the State Farm guy, this is Michael from Base. Michael is our amazing customer support, first-line customer support. So he, myself, Brett, there are several of us that are frequently in there. But if you experience an issue, please let us know. If you have something you'd like to see that you're not seeing, please let us know. Sometimes it's there, and we just need to do a better job of bringing that to life. Or to light, and in other cases, maybe there is a bug, and very quickly we are able to solve those things if we are made aware of them, because we don't always know. So
awesome. Someone said that Ari on YouTube said they've used the chat bubble several times, and the team did a great job responding. That's always good to hear. And I'm going ahead and I will drop the link in to register for Phoenix's chat tomorrow for those of you that want to join. But we want to thank everyone for hopping on today. It seems like all of you guys that signed on were on for the entire stream, which is amazing. We really appreciate you taking the time. And Jeremy, we thank you as well for taking the time to show you all of the wonderful things you and the team are working on.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. I love doing it. And if you have other questions, again, don't hesitate to drop us a message in that chat, or you can email support@basehq.com. We're, again, highly responsive to it. And thank you all for joining.
Awesome, great. And Augustine, before we hop off, I saw your question pop up last minute about creating an account in Slack and went to Base to authorize, but got an error message. We will follow up with you on that and make sure you're all good to go there.
You might need IT approval, perhaps.
Okay.
In that case. But send us a message and we can definitely help.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you at our next live event.